You're listening to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. Focal Point with Brian Fisher.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you.
Hey, Jeff, I got news. I got news for you here, Jeff.
What's that?
The quality here is beginning to deteriorate rapidly. What in the world was that?
That was Emily, your video switcher for today.
Oh, I'm sorry, Emily. It was actually splendid. I thought I was listening to the Metropolitan Opera. No, what was that really?
No, it was one of those computer-generated things.
Okay,
right.
So we've gone from the Little River Band to a computer-generated gibberish, all in honor of the 4th anniversary of the Focal Point program. Well, let's go to the phones, 888-589-8840. Something we typically do at Share-a-thon, but we thought it might be appropriate on the 4th anniversary of Focal Point to give you an opportunity to share with us, with our listening audience, if this program has meant something to you, an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. It certainly would be encouraging to those of us that are part of the Focal Point team. So let's go to David in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to Dave in Rogers, Arkansas. My bad. Let's go to Dave, Rogers, Arkansas. Welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Brian? And
Good, Dave.
congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, I just wanted to say that you guys mean the world to me. I've been listening for about 11 months, and a good Christian friend of mine come to me right before the elections, to believe it or not, and kind of made me aware. I got to say, Brian, I'm not one that really has kept up. I kind of was a guy that through my 20s, I'm 42 years old. Through my 20s, I'd kind of give up on the politicians. I'm here to say now, I'm here to stand up for what's right and for what I know to be right, as far as Jesus' word says it's going to be. I am just totally, Brian, I just, first off, I'll say it again, I thank God for you guys every day. I don't know what we do without you and what Don started 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, fantastic.
Wonderful ministry.
And it is a testament to Don Wildman's vision, because Don obviously started AFA, but the whole concept of this talk radio network, it didn't start till 2009. The talk radio network was only about 6 months old when I came on board. But again, Don just felt like there was going to be a need for a voice in the world of radio to defend and proclaim our values, and that's how it came into being. So it's all due to the vision that he had for exactly what you said, for what our culture needs right now at this time in our history.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, Dave, well, listen, appreciate that very much. Thank you, Dave from Rogers, Arkansas. Let's go to David in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. David calling from Red Stick, Louisiana. How you doing, David? What's on your mind?
I'm good, Mr. Brown. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was listening to your show, and you mentioned it was your anniversary, and want to hear from people that the show meant a lot to. And I'm a veteran. I just got out after about 12 years of service, and coming back in the United States and having your show to listen to, and it's just been really inspiring to me. And I want to call in and congratulate you on your 4 years, and just let you know it's been a real big deal to me, and I appreciate it.
Great, David. Thank you very much, and thank you for your service, and thank you for being in the conversation with us. Appreciate that. That's David from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's go to Bill in West Virginia. Bill, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hello.
Yes, Bill, go right ahead.
Well, first off, congratulations on your 4 years.
Well, thank you, sir.
I've only been listening for about a year, but I really enjoy it.
How did you, just out of curiosity, how did you happen to find us?
I started, I'm 69 years old now. I became saved about age 61, and I started going to Bible study quite often. And some of the people in Bible study talked about your program.
Huh.
It took me several years before I tuned in, but now, every day, 2 o'clock, my wife even knows, I'm right here in the bedroom listening to the program.
Huh.
And I do admire the way you handle, I mean, some people call in and are very obnoxious, and they would make me very angry. You have never gotten angry with them. You've treated them with the same respect you do myself and anybody else that calls in. And that just shows what a real Christian you are. And I just wanted to say that to you, but personally. And could I say something else about yesterday's program about Rick Perry? I like Rick Perry, too, but I just picked up a book, and I wouldn't have picked this book up either and read it if it wasn't a Christian now and listen to your program. It's America the Beautiful by Dr. Ben Carson. Have you read that book yet?
I have not, but I'm familiar, of course, with Dr.
Please.
Carson.
Please do so. Could I read the first paragraph of this prologue to you?
Sure.
Okay. I'm a lousy reader, so bear with me.
That's fine.
The United States of America is still the pinnacle nation in the world today. It is not, however, the first pinnacle nation. The first declining American, or first nation to face this decline. Ancient Greeks, the Egyptians, Romans, the Great Britain, France, Spain, all enjoyed their time at the top of the world, so to speak, in many cases for several hundred years. Then, as they began to decline, they all expressed some peculiar similarities. Emphasis on sports, entertainment, the fixation with lifestyle of the rich and famous, political corruption, and the loss of moral compass. The very first paragraph. I read 2 chapters so far, and you will not believe the substance in those 2 chapters.
Well, he is a truly great man in every respect. Just his personal integrity, his professionalism, his skill as probably the leading pediatric neurosurgeon in the world. Been faithfully married to his wife for 40 plus years, devout Christian. And so, Bill, what you're thinking is you might be interested in a Ben Carson run for the White House in 2016.
Absolutely.
Well, and there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of buzz about that. In fact, I think that's why the homosexual lobby went after him so hot and heavy. Remember when he made those remarks at the presidential prayer breakfast, where he just got right up in Obama's grill, right in front of God and everybody, and criticized him for Obamacare and for his intention to redistribute wealth. And then at another point, it was in an interview, he was talking about once you break the threshold of man-woman marriage, there's no place to stop. You go to same-sex marriage, then you go to pedophilia, then you go to incest, then you go to bestiality. And he just got raked over the coals for comparing homosexuality and bestiality. And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't comparing the two. He was saying, look, there's a slide, and you go over the guardrail, and you start down that slope. You get to the bottom of the hill, and people are having sex with animals and defending that. That's what he was saying. But they went after him hammer and tongs, Bill, because I think they realized he represented a real threat to the leftist agenda because his convictions are very clear and they're unapologetic.
Yes, and he was also told prior to that speech that he wasn't to bring up anything in the form of Christianity or Jesus Christ, which that just goes to show what kind of man he is.
Yeah, just fearless. Yeah, well, absolutely. I think a lot of people, Bill, would share your enthusiasm for a Ben Carson run in 2016. And, one of the things that's interesting to me is that we're looking at some thoroughbreds here in the stable if you're a conservative. I think Rick Perry is a strong conservative, staunch conservative. Ben Carson obviously is. I've got my differences with Rand Paul, but I don't think anybody questions his commitment to the Constitution. You look at Ted Cruz, who may be head and shoulders above anybody else in the field, unquestioned, staunchly conservative. He came out yesterday with a very powerful statement in support of the pro-life bill that's before the Texas legislature. We had Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst on yesterday to talk about that. And it's not common for someone who is a member of Congress to weigh in on a bill that is before the state legislature. But Ted Cruz thinks that was of enough importance. It's the first right, the right to life. You don't have life, you can't enjoy liberty, you can't enjoy the pursuit of happiness. And so he weighed in on it. So, we've got a good stable, for those that are conservatives, a good stable of candidates to look at. All right, Bill, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. 888-589-8840, by the way. Number to call, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Dave in Lafayette, Indiana. Dave, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian. Happy anniversary, and it's always a blessing to hear you.
Thank you, sir.
I found out on the news here locally, I watched it this morning, that the clerk from the courthouse in our county said, obviously somebody tried to get a marriage license for two homosexuals, but they brought it up on the news saying that if they tried to file man and man, woman and woman, that would be a red flag in the computer, and it's actually considered a Class D felony because that would be definite fraudulent filing on an illegal document.
Now, as I understand it, Indiana does not have a state marriage amendment. Is that right?
I believe so. I
think it's against. I think Indiana has a state law very clearly, as this case indicates. And I think Governor Pence was actually, the last word I heard, if I'm remembering correctly, my memory could be faulty, he was actually working on the possibility of starting an effort to get actually amend the state constitution to protect marriage. But what you're seeing, Dave, is it goes back to what we were saying earlier. People are already starting to pull down the pillars in the state of Indiana.
Yes, and people are, they're saying, hey, if it's the law on the book, you might as well stick to it and obey God, because I mean, it's obvious, and the people who they interviewed on TV seemed like they weren't very happy about it, of course. But if you want the television station, I can give that to you.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a chance. I'm sure I can find that day by looking it up. And I appreciate you giving us a heads up. We're seeing ACLU is going after state marriage amendments in several states, in Virginia, going after the one in Pennsylvania. They're going after the one in Michigan. And I forget what the fourth one is, but there's another state. Let's see, Virginia, North Carolina. And North Carolina, they just passed their marriage amendment in 2012. That's it for the first hour of Focal Point. Back with hour number 2, 888-589-8840. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point Network AFR Talk. Be right back after the news.
American Family Radio, AFR Talk. AFR Talk is proud to support our military, and we're giving you a chance to join us in a special way. The Military Bible Stick is a rugged audio player loaded with the complete dramatized version of the New Testament. For a gift of $25, you'll help put this highly requested version of God's Word in the hands of one of our military heroes. Visit afr.net for more information. And thank you from AFR Talk. American Family Radio, AFR Talk, a ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Ed Smith. A pathologist hired by the defense says George Zimmerman's account of how he fatally shot Trayvon Martin is consistent with the forensic evidence. Dr. Vincent D. Mayo testified today in Florida that the trajectory of the bullet and the gunpowder on Martin's body support Zimmerman's version that Martin was on top of him when Zimmerman fired his gun into Martin's chest. Zimmerman said he shot Martin in self-defense. A California college student working at a student orientation event was devastated when her supervisor told her to remove her cross necklace because incoming students might be offended.
19-year-old Audrey Jarvis felt she had no choice but to seek legal assistance from the Liberty Institute. She told attorney Hiram Sasser that her supervisor at Sonoma State told her wearing the cross was against school policy, but he says he's been unable to find such a policy.
I was really surprised to hear this story. The law has been clear on this for decades now, that people have a right to wear religious jewelry at work, and it's a violation of federal law and the Constitution to tell them you can't.
He says he's meeting with school officials seeking an apology and to make sure there is no such policy prohibiting the wearing of religious items.
You would think on a college campus that's focused on diversity and tolerance that there would be some more tolerance and understanding of this issue about a cross, but it just doesn't seem that it's that way sometimes.
A spokesperson for Sonoma State told Fox News that the incident is regrettable. She says school president Ruben Armenina was angered when he heard of it and is ready to apologize. I'm Bob Kellogg.
The Obama administration's nominee to become the next FBI director is offering some assurances about FBI surveillance programs. James Comey told senators today that the programs are subject to strict oversight designed to ensure that the individual privacy rights are not violated. Comey said he's not familiar with the details of the government's phone and internet surveillance program, but he also said that collecting that type of information can be a valuable tool in counterterrorism. House Republicans say that average Americans should get the same break from the health care law as businesses.
House Speaker John Boehner says it's outrageous that the administration has pushed back for a year the provision in